Mike Tyson's just released his training footage and there's a few things that really stand out. Let's take a look.
Day 3, you still want to fuck with me?
So, firstly, he's doing overhead slams with a med ball, working on explosive power. Now, when you see this, it looks like he's got loads of wires tied to his arms and his biceps. Kind of reminds us of Ivan Drago when he was training for Rocky, doing all that futuristic training. So now with all of these wires tied to him, I'm guessing they're measuring like how hard he's working, measuring the strength and the power of them slams. Now they might be doing that to be able to measure the progress of his training. They might be monitoring how much energy he's using from each slam, and also they might have a heart rate monitor on him there, which it doesn't look like, but you never know with all them wires. That can be to see just how fast he's recovering at this stage of his life doing this boxing workout. Then moving on, we see some classic Mike Tyson mitt work with the short punches to the body, then whoom, the big hook to the head. But that's a 1 second clip. Then we see another clip. It's too fast for me to break this down. But what we're seeing is Mike Tyson look like an absolute beast for half a second at a time, which to the uneducated eye, which what is most people who are going to be watching this fight, they'll see this and they'll be like, wow, Mike Tyson's still got, he's an absolute beast, he's an absolute animal. And if I seen the full round of that and he looked like that from the start of the round to the end of the round, like that, I'd be like, wow, he's going to finish Jake Paul off in 30 seconds. He's an absolute monster. But what we're seeing there, my friend, is 1 second clips. And any professional boxer can look great for just 1 second. And I'm going to talk about what Mike Tyson looked like not long ago, which you can't compare to this. But first, I want to show you what impressed me the most about this video. Here it is.
Day 3, you still want to fuck with me?
That right there, that big scream, followed by day 3, you still want to fuck with me, but it's when you see his eyes and the way he says that.
You still want to fuck with me?
There, just look at that look in Mike Tyson's eyes. You know, when I was a kid, everyone would say the phrase like, how much would it take for you to get in the ring with Mike Tyson? Everyone was so scared of him. Still are right now. And it would be like, oh no, I wouldn't get in the ring with him for £1 million. Or people would say, oh, it would take £1 million. I would fight him for that. Now, Jake Paul actually is. And maybe it's because he's seen what Mike Tyson looked like not so long ago, which was this, where he's walking through a stadium, he's got a cane, he's kind of limping, and he looks like a very old man, which it's really sad to see an icon like Mike Tyson like this. See him walking there, kind of wobbling a little bit. Now, if I'm Jake Paul and I see that and I'm like, I can get 20 million quid to fight this guy, I'm like, yeah, all right. Then when Jake Paul sees Mike Tyson seeing this,
Day 3, you still want to fuck with me?
I wonder what he's thinking. Now, if this is day 3, imagine what Mike's going to be like at day 10 or day 20 and so on. But one thing I always remember when Mike Tyson was on the Joe Rogan podcast, he spoke about when he was training to have that exhibition fight with Roy Jones, and he did some mitt work. And he was talking about how he did a little fast combination on the mitts a couple of times for a video to promote the fight. And he said, I couldn't walk for like a week after doing that. And when I met Mike Tyson just a couple of months ago in Saudi Arabia, he looked like a retired fighter. But now it looks like Jake Paul's went over with the offer for loads of money and now he's being bought. For me, the scariest thing about this full event with him and Jake Paul is if he did get hit hard on the chin and knocked out. Now you might be thinking, Tony, that's impossible. How can Mike Tyson get knocked out of the Disney star Jake Paul? Now listen to me, my friend. It can happen because as you get older, you think your punch resistance is going to stay on your chin when you haven't been working out like a real athlete, when you've been smoking weed and taking mushrooms all the time, like we've seen Mike Tyson do publicly. You think he can take the punch like he once could. And by the way, on that, Mike Tyson's last professional fight was in 2005 and he lost inside the distance. And his previous 3 fights, he lost 2 of them by TKO as well. And that's going back to 2002. Now he's fighting someone 31 years younger than him who can punch. We've seen Jake Paul knocking people out. But anyway, if Jake Paul did land that 1 punch on Mike Tyson, and he did finish Mike Tyson off, I'm not saying he's going to do it, but if he did, what happens to Mike Tyson's legacy then? The younger generation that doesn't know who Mike Tyson is the way that I know him, and you probably know him, looking up to him as this living legend, this icon, one of the best to ever do it, he will be remembered by the younger generation as that guy who got knocked out by Jake Paul. Now imagine that. How bloody sad would that be? And I'm just thinking about what people's going to say after this fight. If Jake Paul wins, it's going to be like, you fought a
58-year-old Mike Tyson, you're a bully. You should never have done that. It's out of order. He's only a pensioner. Look at this footage of him walking with a cane.
Or they'll be saying,
It's rigged. It's another one of his rigged fights.
which I don't believe any of his fights were rigged when people have been saying that. If Jake Paul loses, it's going to be like,
Well, that's what you get. You're trying to fight Mike Tyson. What do you expect?
so it's kind of like I would say a lose-lose for him to the general public. But to me, it's like, wow, no, Jake's done a huge thing here. He's fighting on Netflix. He's making millions of dollars. He's getting in the ring with an absolute legend. And people in the boxing world will say, if you could share the ring with anyone, who would it be? And I've always thought about that. I've always thought my answer wouldn't be Mike Tyson, would be the worst boxer possible for the most amount of money. I don't want to fight Mike Tyson. Nah. Now, I know that talking about, is this fight going to be a professional boxing fight or will it be an exhibition fight? And I've heard from my sources that Mike Tyson and Jake Paul are both pushing for the pro fight. So now the difference between a pro fight and an exhibition fight, in an exhibition, there's normally not a winner and loser. In an exhibition, you're not really supposed to try and knock the other person out. You can often wear head guards and bigger gloves, which again, I know that Jake and Mike will not want to wear a head guard. Maybe the bigger gloves, that kind of makes sense if it is an exhibition fight, but if they are wearing bigger gloves, now it's starting to sound more like a sparring match, which most people wouldn't want to watch, but I would. I would pay to watch Jake Paul and Mike Tyson spar when they're proper going at it. The last thing that a fighter does lose is their power. Now, his power is ridiculous, scary. Even on these short clips that you see here, that's knocking someone out. That's knocking Jake Paul out. If one of them lands clean, he's asleep. It's knocking most people out. You're asleep. And so the big question is, like, can he condition himself to be able to do the rounds? And now I don't even know how many rounds this is going to be. Now, I talk a lot more in depth about this fight and what I think Mike Tyson's team is thinking by taking this fight on my other video. Click here and watch this video next where I talk all about Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. Click here and watch this.